Now, on poetry, we have sound features. Sound features are those parts that contain sounds that are repeated in verses of poems so that they create rhythm in a poem. The first one is alteration, and alteration is the repetition of the initial consonant sounds in words which occur in close proximity. For example, here we have the word from and friends. The first sound is sound in letter F, and therefore it is repeated, and there's alteration in this verse. So in a question of examination, you may be asked to identify alteration or to identify the sound features in a poem. And when you identify alteration, you will write alteration, the term alteration, and give the illustration as sound. Sound is repeated in from and friends. Then you underline the letters which carry that sound. That is the illustration. Very simple. Then we have another sound feature which we call assonance, which is a very common sound feature. Assonance is the repetition of vowel sounds which occur in words that are in close range. Now, for example, we have the word and the word am. The first sound is a in both words, and we may have fund and mad. The second vowel sound is sound a, which takes this simple. Sound a in letters U, the letter U, and therefore there is assonance in the two words. When they occur in the same verse, then we can say that is assonance. Then we shall say there is assonance in fund and mad. We underline U, which carries the repetition of the sound a. Now, we have another sound feature we call consonance. Consonance, just before we go there, in assonance, the vowel sounds can occur in any part of the word. It is not strict to initial sound as in alteration. So in assonance, we may have the vowel sound repeated at any part of the word. Now, in consonance, the same way, now it is the repetition of consonant sounds at any part of the word, any part or position of the word in words that occur in close range or close proximity. Normally, when we talk about close range, we talk about words between them should not be content words. If we should have content words, then it should be only one. Content words are nouns, verbs, adverbs, adjectives, and so on. Those are the content words that should not be between the two words which contain the vowel sound that is repeated. So once we have more than 2 content words between the words, then that one is there's no consonants there, or there's no assonance or alliteration. So the words which should be between these words should be other parts of speech, like auxiliary verbs, the helping verbs like is, and then prepositions such as in, out, of, so on. Those ones can be between the two words. And still we have consonants, or we have assonance or alliteration. Now, examples of consonants can be, we have the word content and impotent. Now, the last sound is sound T in the letter T, and therefore there is consonants here. There's a repetition of consonant sounds at the end of the words content and impotent. If they appear in the same verse of a stanza in a poem, then we have consonants there. So when you ask a question about identifying the sound features, you can say there's consonants. You say the word consonants here, and then you give illustration. Then you say there's consonants in content and impotent. Those last letters contain the sound. That sound is the one that is repeated. But a student or a candidate not necessarily needs to write the sound in simples. You just have to write the words and then underline the letters that contain the sound. Now, these are the major sound features that are in poetry that are actually used for various importance in poetry. Let's mention some two importance of the sound features. Number one, we have importance of sound features. Number one, the sound features help create what we call rhythm. Rhythm is the musicality or the fluctuation of sound in a poem or a song, which makes the poem or song enjoyable when reading it or when listening to it. The rhythm is created by these sound features that are common. Some other sound features that can also help create rhythm include rhyme. Rhyme is the repetition of sounds at the end of the verses, and when the same sounds are repeated at the end of the verses, they are used to create what we call rhyme. And rhyme has got two types of schemes. Rhyme occurs in two types of schemes. We have regular rhyme scheme and irregular rhyme scheme, whereby regular rhyme scheme involves the uniform repetition of sounds, and which can be predictable. You may predict what sound comes next. And in irregular rhyme, the repetition is in uniform. You may not predict what sound may come next after the last line of the sound. Now, another importance, far from that, another importance of sound features is that they help to memorize the poem. And definitely after memorizing the poem, you may be able to understand the meaning of the poem. You may be able to understand the meaning of the poem. So far, so good. These are some of the sound features that we have in poetry. Thank you.